Hey, it's Silvertooth again, and I'm alive and doing fine. I want to do a video here about the book of Job in the Bible. Okay? And I don't like it, like when people talk the Bible, because when people like go through the book and try to disseminate it and uh, they bend it to their will. They bend it to their will. They try to bastardize what God gave as fact, right? So I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying not to have any ego here, but I am, in fact, reading it and I am disseminating it. So um, the book itself was of a man who had everything taken away from him. And he had that taken away with no reason. Okay. And the reason I say that is because so many of us say, like, why, God? Why? Why do you put this on me? Even people that aren't spiritual at all, that 21-year-old that drank too much and is hugging the toilet bowl. And I've said this myself, it's a part of growing up. Oh, God, if you please let me live one more day, I'll never drink again type thing, when you're younger and a teen. One of those things. So there's a deeper spirituality and a deeper connection with the Creator than we know. But the whole point of the Book of Job was supposed to be a test of why do we have suffering? Why does this child have brain cancer that's only 6 years old? What did they do to the world? Why, God, are you not fair and unjust when you say you bless those and you bless your children and you love your children? Why do good people, bad things happen to good people? That's the whole premises of it. Um, and the thing is that he was a known good person. So people start questioning if all this bad karma starts happening to this guy, if his life's falling apart, and so many things point to he probably deserves this, right? And people were getting the impression that he deserved this, and the whole point of this story is not Job himself, because Job wins in the end. Job gets all of his glory back in full. The whole point was to put your faith in God and search for the answers in God and not within yourself. That to me was the purpose, because the losers of that story were the people that said, I knew better than the Creator. Those were the losers. Those were the people that thought that they could come up against the will of God and God's plan and do their own magic and make stuff happen. And it just doesn't work like that. The explanation, because God saw that Job was going to be successful before he even started. He knew, he knew the hairs on the head type thing. So he knew that Job was going to have success in this before he even put him through the test. So what was the purpose of the suffering? The purpose of the suffering was Job was the test for others. Job was here to test others. That's why. The test wasn't on Job. Job was the winner. The test was on the people that came against Job, the people that knew better. That was the test. So, what do you get out of this? What do you get out of this? Um, Gratitude. Gratitude. It's like, would you have signed up for this if you knew it were going to happen? Darn right. Darn right it would. Do it again in a heartbeat. I'm a soldier for the Lord. Always have been. So I fight for just and right. And if you don't, I don't understand why not. Because that's just something I don't get. I don't get. is the whole demonology, devil worshiping, occultist, all of that stuff. I don't get it. Because if you actually believe in that, then you also believe in the Lord. And you also know that the Lord is the victorious one every single time. No spell you can cast, no doubt you can place in his mind, right? That's the whole a come up. It's like he gave you this so you can point the finger at yourself. That's the test. That's the lesson to be learned. And life can either be heaven or hell. It is what you make it. And any time you could turn to the Lord, right? You can. That's why he went on the cross. Right? That's the whole purpose. And I think that when we're younger, if you were raised in like the aspect of Christianity, you saw a lot of the truth. You knew a lot of the truth itself. But people go beyond the truth. They say, I deserve more, I need more. Basically, they get the heavenly creator, they get that the Holy Ghost is Santa Claus. And they get those two confused. And they get, oh, it's a myth. Oh, it's a myth. This isn't the way the world really works, right? There's Job over there suffering. See what God did for him, right? Job was the lesson. Job was here to teach you. And they had every opportunity to learn. They had every guidance to learn. But they just went internally and said, I know better. I can do better. I can make this better, right? They forgot their faith. It's so easy that we can grow up and get entangled in this web and forget our faith. Get distracted by fancy cars, fancy houses, fancy planes, fancy people, fancy things that are hollow. It was all a test.